Hi everyone, I'm Cory Anotado, the executive producer of Tell Us About Yourself, conversations with game show contestants. Our first season has come to a close, and our host Christian Carrion is taking a well-deserved break. He'll be back in the new year with new episodes of the podcast. Meanwhile, I'll be replaying some of our favorite episodes, giving you a chance to listen again to some of the greatest stories we have from the stars of your favorite game shows, the contestants. We couldn't do this without your help, so we appreciate you listening and supporting the podcast. We also could not have done this without the support of the National Archives of Game Show History at the Strong National Museum of Play. The National Archives of Game Show History at the Strong preserves the history of game shows, from the earliest panel shows and quiz scandals, to the games and puzzles of the 1970s, to the Big Money Network series, and the classic games now in prime time. You can learn more about the archives or the museum itself at their website, museumofplay.org. We would also appreciate if you visited our Patreon page. You can support the podcast for as little as $1 per month. You can check that out and more at patreon.com/packdo. Now, without further ado, here's an encore episode of Tell Us About Yourself, conversations with game show contestants.
Tell us about yourself, would you?
Tell us something about you.
For any new viewers, won't you tell us again about yourself?
We've met before, but let's meet again. Tell us about
What
yourself.
else can you tell us about yourself?
Perhaps you'd fill us in again and tell us about yourself.
I'm Christian Carrion. When I watch a game show, my attention and support tend to gravitate towards the really excitable contestants. The live wires, the ones who could push things off the rails with the power of their joy. The ones who keep the host, the panelists, the cameramen, and the stagehands on their toes. After all, how fun is it to watch someone having fun? It's in this spirit that I present my conversation with four-time contestant Rochelle Anapolsky, unedited. Because I think you'll find, as I pleasantly did, that her excitement and her energy are as fresh and vibrant now as they were back in 1982, when she won $11,000 with Gene Rayburn on Match Game. Rochelle, welcome to the show. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Rochelle Anapolsky. I live in LA, California, and I'm a receptionist for a real estate company for the last 20 years, and I love every minute of it.
So, Rochelle, in your estimation, how many game shows have you been a contestant on over the years?
The actual game shows that aired, I think like 4-ish, if I remember. But a lot before that were also game show pilots that were just for the audience sake and hopefully to be sold.
Right, like a sort of demonstration kind of thing. When a company would have an idea for a show, they'd put a demo together and you would play a contestant on the pilot.
Right, the pilot, exactly. Loved it.
And what kind of relationship did you have with game shows before you became a contestant? Were you a game show fan growing up?
No, not really. That's interesting you asked that. Yes, I watched a lot of game shows, but I guess you could say I was a fan. And then I don't know how I got started. I do know how I got started in all of this. It was a show called The Neighbors, and we all lived in an apartment building, and they were young married couples, and they would interview you and say which neighbor said this, which neighbor said that, and we were all chosen to be on that show. And then unfortunately, right before we were ready to tape, it got canceled. And then I guess the guys that came and interviewed us remembered me, and said, "Would you like to do pilots, run-throughs?" I've never heard of. I thought, sure, what the heck. So I did pilots, and from then on,
No, please, no, go right ahead, please.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, go right ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Go right ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Oh, no, and then from then on, they called me, I guess the producers or the production people, and said, come on down and start doing some pilots or game show run-throughs, which I never knew existed, and came down, and I loved it. I loved every minute of making a game show or just being around the contestants. It was just too much fun. And that's what they wanted, were people that weren't shy, people that didn't back away, people that kept grinning. They wanted animals, and they got what they asked for.
They got an animal. So
they got an animal.
So were you somebody that had an inclination towards performing? Did you enjoy being in front of people? Were you in theater when you were in school? Did you have any sort of inclination toward that type of thing?
No, that's interesting that you say that. I was in a couple of plays, but nothing. Yes, I did want to be in front of the camera. I did. I wanted to be a star. I did. I loved that. Yes. So this was my, so to speak, stardom, the game shows. I loved being in the production, but as I've gotten older now, I wouldn't mind being behind the scenes. Yes, I loved being in the studio, the TV cameras. It all excited me.
When I was younger, I was someone who wanted to be famous, and I grew up watching game shows. And so I idolized a lot of the hosts of the shows that I used to watch. And I watched, the reruns of the stuff from the 70s and 80s. I used to love those people. When you were younger and you wanted to be a star, who did you want to be?
Oh, what a great question. I'm trying to... I loved Annette Funicello in the Mouseketeers.
Oh, sure. She was probably the most popular Mouseketeer of them all, wasn't she?
Yes. I loved her. Who else? I also loved Debbie Reynolds. I loved, Gidget, Sally Fields. Oh, that's a great question. I really love them all. I'm trying to think who else. I think Annette Funicello was my favorite. I wanted to hang out with that girl. Yeah, I liked them all. I loved, the Doris Day. You know what? That's a great question. I loved them all. The Doris Day, the Rock Hudson. I wanted to be all of them. I wanted to be friends. I wanted to hang out with them all.
Sure. And what was it about them that attracted you to that type of performer?
So cute, so fun. And it seemed all so real. Do you know what I mean? It was just fantasy land is what it was. It just put a smile on your face just seeing them and watching them. And you happy-go-lucky. That's what I like, the happy-go-lucky. The freedom, yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I think that's something... Yeah, that's something that I identify with a lot of the game show hosts I used to love as well. You can sort of tell, or at least it comes across on TV, that those people are just that way off camera compared to on camera. That's who they are. Yeah. Something very genuine about their personalities.
Right. So you did that too. You did the same thing. You wanted to be one of them.
Oh, absolutely. And then as I got older, I realized that, it's only so many people that get to be a game show host, but there are ways that you can take those qualities and apply them to everyday life. I work in hospitality now, and so I do get to wear a suit every day. I do get to welcome people and be that first point of contact every day. I do get to, give out free stuff once in a while every day and meet people from all over the country, all over the world. So there were ways that I was able to be a game show host, but not on a game show, if that makes sense.
Christian, absolutely. I can't believe you're saying that. So you have the best of both worlds. You're the host.
Well, right. And again, it's like,
the host, aren't you?
Right. Well, and it doesn't require being on The Price is Right or being in front of a camera or holding a microphone to be that kind. I realized that I wanted to have that personality rather than, be the host of a television program, which I still would love to do. That's still my dream. But at the same time, I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing right now.
Oh, absolutely. How interesting you say that. So you can't be a loser because you're always winning as a host. Well, I'm a receptionist at a real estate office. And that's so funny because there's another agent and he wanted to be a star too. And we both decided this is our stage. I'm the receptionist. So I'm basically entertaining the agents or anyone that walks in. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
This is our stage. So we joke around. And in other words, I have fun every day we're on. Every day we are on. And we are, what's the word? Not acting, but we're on. We're entertaining them. I entertain the agents in my way.
Sure. Well,
So
and that's how we look
I'm on
at
stage like you are.
Yeah, and that's how we look at it. And, I don't know if it's specific to our hotel, but I think maybe that level of hospitality in general, where that's the show, and the show is always moving. And when things happen backstage that might throw the show off, part of the skill set is to keep it on the rails and, to keep that show moving. Oh, absolutely.
Right. Tell me, if you become a game show host, can I be your assistant or sidekick?
Oh, you're first on the list. Absolutely.
I'm going to be your...
Please do, Rochelle. I would love that.
You won't be sorry, young man.
I would love it.
You won't be sorry. From your mouth to God's ears, it should only happen. It should only happen.
I love it.
That's a scream.
So the neighbors, that was
it is fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God. Listen, the world of game shows is, and there's only so much you can do to communicate how fun it is. And I mean, you've been on a lot of shows, and I think about Match Game in particular, and just that excitement that comes across. People don't understand that you can't manufacture that.
God, no.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And something about a good game show, those feelings take over, and you become a more amplified version of yourself, and it's just so much fun.
Yes. How interesting. Yes, it is. No, that you cannot, that is not phoniness. That is true excitement that comes out of the body. True excitement. You can't control yourself. You could become a blubbering idiot. You cannot control yourself.
Sure.
It's a scream. Your mind leaves you. The excitement sets in. It's just too much fun. It really is. It's such fun. The whole scenario. It is great, but you're right. That is...
Yeah.
You can't make that up.
So the neighbors,
right.
And that was with Regis Philbin on ABC. And that was
Are you kidding? I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, he was, So, Regis was the host, and it was a sort of, like you said, it was like the Newlywed Game, but they picked like 5 housewives from a certain neighborhood in California.
Yes.
They would be the stars for the day, and the show would be all about kind of gossiping, the gossip that goes on between those particular people in the neighborhood. Exactly.
You're absolutely right. And I lived in an apartment building, and there were like 5 of us who, of course, we were neighbors, and we loved it. And they came to our apartment and interviewed us. Oh, we had so much fun. We did, and we were so sad and disappointed they picked us. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, I was just going to mention the fact that you must have been disappointed when you got the call to be on the show, and then it got canceled before you even got to appear.
So sad. It was so sad. I thought, there goes the end of that. So sad. But then the best news came because they remembered us. They remembered me and said, how about doing, run-throughs, which, like I said, I'd never heard of before. And wow, that was fun. And I'll tell you something else. Whenever I did a pilot, you used to be, sometimes you'd get paid or you'd get little TVs. You'd always get gifts. And I always said to my husband, I would pay them. That's how much fun I had making it. I didn't care about being paid. I would pay them because I had too much fun. Just seeing a camera was my payment.
That's wonderful.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I've done it. I've done it a few times where I've gone to... So I lived in Connecticut for most of my life. I'm in Pennsylvania right now. And I used to take the train to New York once in a while because I also got calls to try different formats, or, somebody had an idea for a game. We need somebody to come to the office and just play it. Maybe not in front of the camera, but just play it, And these producers would be so surprised that I would pay my own way to get on the train to get to New York and do the thing. I don't want anything. This is fun. Are you kidding me?
You loved it. Wait, now how'd they find you for that?
Well, I had been on a few shows, so I am. This goes back to 2000. Right, they had gotten my name from whatever casting companies put me on shows. Like I remember after I did, Yeah, after I did Hollywood Squares, that was so MTV did their own version back in 2012. And after that particular show, I remember getting a lot of calls from different producers who were working on games and trying things out and needed people to, people that were good at trivia or good at puzzles and things like that to come and play the game so they can see what works and what doesn't.
Oh, so Christian, you were an animal then, because they remembered you.
I was. Rochelle,
I have to see it.
Yes, if you ever see videos of me on these shows, I used to have them on YouTube, but they got taken down somehow. I'll have to show you. But yeah, God,
I would love to see that.
You talk about an animal. I was an animal. I was an animal.
Oh my God, Christian, you make me proud. Oh, you must send me the tape. I would love to see that.
Absolutely, I will set something up. I was going to ask you actually if you. Well, anyway, we'll get to that. But yes, I absolutely want to set something up. Well, I'll get you something.
Right.
So what was I gonna? Oh, right. So I asked you if you were a game show fan growing up. What about games in particular? Because it does take a certain kind of competitive spirit to be a good run-through or pilot contestant. Were you into games or board games or charades, anything like that?
No. You know what? Not Monopoly. We all did Monopoly. Oh gosh, Chutes and Ladders. No, I didn't have to play a board game or some of it. Actually, is a funny thing. Is some of it bores me. Trivia. Forget trivia. I'm more of a. I wasn't a trivia person. So in other words, don't ever put me on Jeopardy. I don't think I'd make it in the front door for Jeopardy.
Right.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That would be embarrassing. No, I liked, it wasn't the games, it was being on TV.
Got it. So just the presentation aspect of it was what you excelled at.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But play games, no, put me on TV and I'll play anything you want.
So
basically.
How fascinating was it to be part of the process by which a game gets created? Because as a run-through participant, you're really sort of in on the ground floor when it comes to, to the development of a game, and you're really there to see them kind of knead the dough and flesh it out a bit. Tell me what that experience was like, being present for that creative process.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of amazing, like thinking, oh my goodness, I was there. I remember trying this out. They did it this way. They would do it that way. Some of the shows made it. Some didn't. I remember, going back, even Ed McMahon did a game show, Who Done It? I think it was called Who Done It.
Right, on NBC, right. Yeah, it was like dinner theater as a game show. I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
Absolutely right. Yes, I could see it now. I don't know whatever happened to that one, but it's fun knowing, wow, we were behind the scenes. We did that. So the whole thing is just so exciting, being around everyone. It just is exciting. I'm in awe of the writers that think of all this. What an imagination to think of game shows and to do this way and that way. That's what gets me too.
Oh, sure.
The whole thing is exciting.
Right, because it's difficult to create a game show, to create a game that people can watch from home and kind of grasp onto and, identify the concepts and have them play along and get engaged. That's very, very difficult. There's only a very few people that were, if you think about it, very few people that were successful at doing that.
Right. So how clever, what kind of mind, how clever to think like that. And there was a lot of game shows we did, a lot of run-throughs that we did, that the cleverness just we're in awe to think, wow, who came up with this? Yeah, the whole thing is exciting, Christian, the whole thing.
Tell me about some of the run-throughs, if you remember. And again, I know we're working off of old memory, so anything that you do or don't remember is perfectly fine. Do you remember anything particular about some of the run-throughs that maybe didn't make it, or some of the ones that you were in on that you can sort of needed some work or weren't going to be on the air?
There, one, it was basically taken off the Boggle. Do you remember Boggle?
The word game, sure.
Yes, the word game, Boggle, very clever. They tried to do a game like that years ago, and it never made it. That never made it. What else was there? Oh, you're making me dig deep. I'm trying to think. There was another show with Batman. What was his name? The very first Batman we did a game show. I don't.
With Adam West?
It's Adam West going back years ago again. I don't think that one made it. That was a pilot.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know
gosh,
he ever did a game show.
That's why I didn't make it, maybe. Was it Adam West? Who was before him or after him? You might have to Google that.
Oh,
I
wonder.
He was the host. He was a Batman, and he was the host. Oh, it's all coming back now. That didn't make... forgive me, I can't remember a lot of the names, but there were a lot of shows that just didn't make it. You know what the best part was? We'd go down to the studio, and you would make a pilot, and you'd be the winner. And people, they didn't realize it was a pilot, and people afterwards, the audience would come up and congratulate me for winning thousands and thousands, and I wanted to yell, but it's not real. But you couldn't. You just sat there and grinned. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, of course. Well,
So
that
it was
speaks to your talent as a performer, right? Because the excitement of winning $10,000, for
You're right.
example, it's I've seen pilots where the contestants have trouble pretending they won all this money. You had no issue at all. I think it's a testament to your excitability that somebody can look at you.
Whatsoever.
No, you don't think?
You're absolutely right. None whatsoever. None. Yep. Yeah. No, I was truly excited. I was excited, but you have to remember, I was excited just being there, Christian. They could have given me a Twinkie and that would have a smile on my face.
Right.
I loved the whole aspect of it, but yeah, so people thought, you're right. That, like you did the same thing, obviously, then, and people came up and did they not congratulate you?
Oh, they sure did. Oh, yeah, they did. All the time.
Right. And you'd grit your teeth and go, thank you.
Right. Well, because
you didn't get the 30,000 that you...
Right. And it's such a fun moment for the audience that you don't want to disrupt that. Yeah, I'd rather just have them think, yeah, I won. Yeah, this was real,
Yes, exactly. But you're right. You know what? That's good acting, isn't it? But actually, it's not acting because it's the real us coming through. So you did the same thing. The real us came through, the excitement. They got what they asked for.
Right. That's true. Yeah. And like you, being present for the show and being in front of the camera and going through the whole process of the makeup and the signing the papers and all that of that was just getting me closer and closer to that dream of mine. Like I just wanted to be there, and I didn't even care whether I won or lost. That was something that something I'm learning doing this podcast and talking to all these contestants. One of the things you all have in common is that whether they win or lose, they have a story, they have an experience, they have an achievement. It's not everybody that gets picked to be on a game show.
Right. Exactly. Interesting. What did you ever win? What were your winnings?
Let's go through it. Okay.
Say?
Oh, yeah, I could say. Yeah, so this was, let's start at the beginning. 2007, I was on The Price is Right for my 18th birthday. I just asked for the airfare. I knew the address of the studio by heart because I used to watch the show every day. I knew what to do, how to get on. I said, just get me the tickets. Yeah. And so my 18th birthday, my parents just got me the round trip airfare from New York to LA. And I got on the show. I won a sofa and a year's supply of eye drops.
So they picked you.
They did pick me.
Okay.
Yeah, they did pick me. And talk about about a show that turns you into an absolute animal. The energy is incredible.
Yes. Oh, so when you came to LA, you didn't know you were going to be picked, did you?
No. Oh, Rochelle, okay. I had no idea I was going to be picked because, again, they interview everybody who goes into the audience for 30 seconds each. They'll talk to you.
Right.
I didn't know I was going to get picked. And I also knew that Bob Barker was retiring in 3 weeks at that point. And so the line was going to be around the block. I slept out on the sidewalk in Los Angeles for 3 days to get into that show.
Oh, are you serious?
I sure did.
Oh, thank God they picked you?
I sure did. Well, I was
Seriously?
first in line after 3 days. Yeah, and they picked me.
Oh, and what did you do that they picked you? I mean, were you something? What did you do?
I don't know that I did anything in particular. I think I just had a really good interview. I think that I knew, you know, a little bit is, you know, knowing how to get the person in charge of picking the contestants to say, oh, tell me more about that. Oh, I want to know more about him, you know. So
Right.
I remember my conversation just being a little
before.
Yeah, I remember our conversation just being a little bit longer than some of the others. Like I just gave more kind of entry points into talking to me. You know, I kind of gave little hooks.
Right.
But other than that, you know, I was just really excited to be there for the show, and you know, it was just such an incredible experience. So anyway, that was the first one. I won a sofa. Freshman year of college, I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I've been trying to get on that show for like 2 or 3 years up to that point. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been trying to get on that show, and I used to take the test. I used to
The test?
Yeah, so there's a test that they give you to be on the show, and I used to go in person. Again, I used to hop on the train from New Haven, Connecticut to New York, go to ABC, take the test, and I'd fail it every time. And I did it about 7 or 8 times. And then finally, when I first started going to college, they did one season where everybody took an online test, where they would interview you first, and if they liked you, you could take the test. And at that point, I figured, you know, I know how to pass the interview. I know how to talk about myself. I'm excited for the show. I've been trying to do this for forever. So I think that would be the easy part, you know. So I got the interview. They liked me. They sent me the test. I did the test. And then 2 days later, I was on the set, sitting in the chair.
Oh, were you surprised?
Looking back, I knew it had to come somehow. I'm the kind of person that when I have a goal in my head, I you know, nothing is going to stop me from achieving that goal. So I think in my head, I knew it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when, but I was still excited, you know.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. And
and then what did you win on what? Yeah.
I won $15,000.
Get out.
Yeah, I won 15 grand.
What did you do with it?
So I did a few things with it. Yeah, well, the very, very first thing I did was I took all my friends to Wendy's. I took about 30 people to Wendy's and got everyone cheeseburgers and fries and soda. It was great. It was great. I had just turned 20, so I was still a kid, you know, when I got the check.
Oh my!
I cashed the check. I got it in cash. I filled my pocket with $20 bills. I called all my friends. I said, meet me at Wendy's. And we all went to Wendy's. I stood at the register and gave everyone a $20 bill. Let everyone keep the change. It was great.
Oh, Christian, were you a proud man? You were proud.
Oh, that was a wonderful time to be alive. That was really fun. I always recommend to everybody, if you're going to a new school and you're looking to meet people and you're looking to get on a game show, you'll be the most popular person for like the next 2 years.
Yes, that's excellent. You are right. Oh my God, you were walking on air.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It really was. Yeah, it really was. And then Hollywood Squares, that was 2 years later. I won $1,000, but that paid for the date with the woman who I've now been married to. It was 6 years on March 25th.
Oh, wait a minute. How did you meet her?
Well, I was managing the campus radio station when I was in school, and we were doing a fundraiser, and I was in the newspaper for this fundraiser, and somehow she found me on Facebook because somebody had put up the picture of me in the newspaper and had tagged me, and she added me on Facebook, and the first thing she ever said to me was "Happy birthday," because she added me. She didn't know it was my birthday. But she added me on my birthday, and we've been talking. That was 2012. We've been talking ever since.
Oh, I love that. That's excellent.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Wait a minute. I'm interviewing you. What does she do?
I love talking about myself. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. I love this. So right now,
and I like talking. Yeah, go on.
That's okay. So right now, she's a chef. She's been a pastry chef at a couple places. but she's also an artist. She's a visual artist. And so she's been painting for a really long time. When I met her, she was going to comedy school. She's trained in improv comedy.
Oh, this is uncanny. So she wanted to be in the limelight, so to speak, too.
That's exactly it. And now we had, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, we had one mutual friend, and he's probably listening. His name is Adam. He's also a researcher with the Game Show Archive. That was our only mutual friend. I knew him because of the game show thing. We used to talk about game shows all the time. My wife knew him because my wife is a massive fan of Conan O'Brien, the talk show host. And Adam was on an episode of Conan's show when he went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, and he led Conan around for this segment that they did on the show.
No kidding.
That was the only connection that we had, this one person. And years later, I got on a show and they flew me to California for it. While I was out there, I got to have dinner with Adam and kind of thank him in person for, being just that one connection we had between us.
That's uncanny, isn't it?
It's amazing. I'm telling you, it's and it's stories like that, game shows have this power, right? It's just so eternally positive, and there's just so much good that comes from positive. This. Yeah. And it really comes across for sure. I want to talk about you being on Match Game. How did your episode is like one of my favorites, just because again that excitement is so contagious, and you had such an incredible win. Tell me how that opportunity came about.
I'm trying to think. I probably tried out for it. Did I try out for Match? Christian, this is awful. Going back 40 years ago, my daughter was 7. Let me think now. How the heck did I get picked?
Well, if I remember correctly, I think it might have come from the audience. I don't know that they had tryouts. I think they would just call people from the audience. No,
that one didn't.
Oh, okay.
That one was planned. Yeah, I think they called and said try out, because you always had to try out before they picked you. So I must have tried out, and then they called, and you go down there, of course, and then your episode is on, and that's when the teeth come out, the sharp teeth come out. The competition is when the claws and the teeth, the fangs come out, because you want the real you want to win. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Christian?
Oh, absolutely.
You want to win. Yeah. So, I was against a great girl. I forgot her name. I can see it now. Great girl. The excitement and the nerves, Christian, the nerves. You can't think. You cannot think.
I know it. I know it. Yeah. Well, that's another You're right. Well, that's another show that I've been. I was on Match Game in 2019. I was on the newest one, and
who's on that one?
It was hosted by Alec Baldwin, and they had. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they had. I got to meet Wayne Newton at my taping, which was very surreal. Super surreal to see him in person. Yeah, but I got a lot of flack from my friends for talking about this, but. Match Game is difficult, and it's not that it's a really hard game to play.
No,
but it's
it isn't.
It's saying things under pressure with the host in front of you and the microphone in front of you, and all the celebrities staring at you. And it's one of the things. Right, that part is difficult.
It is difficult if you think about it, and then you have to come up with the right answer to boot.
Right. And in a Match Game, there's only one or two right answers, and you have to hope that you say the right thing.
Oh, but what can be upsetting, and I've noticed a lot of game shows, is sometimes the celebrity will answer a silly answer just to get a laugh, and you want to poke their eyes out. Do you know what I mean? It has nothing to do.
Right. Did that happen with you on your episode?
No, I was very lucky. Did that happen? I'm trying to think. No, there wasn't a silly answer that didn't make sense. No, there was a question that could have gone any way. Crazy, any part of the body. I forgot what the question was. What part of the body did so-and-so have his tattoo or whatever? And that could have gone from your toes to your nose. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, of course.
It's a question like that would take anything. But when they go off the beaten track just to get a laugh, you want to smack them because they're costing you money. your reward.
Right. And
But,
you know what's funny? A lot of celebrities don't. I heard a story. This has to have been within the last few years. They were doing a version of the $100,000 pyramid. They were doing a new version of it, and they got celebrities to play with the contestants, and none of the celebrities seemingly took the time to learn how to play the game. So all these people were losing and losing and losing, and it got to the point. It got to the point where all the contestants kind of revolted and said, "We are not going on this show until you get people that learn how to play the game." Yeah, I love that.
Are you kidding? I'm applauding. Good for them.
I love it. And
whatever
that's
happened to that?
I don't know. I don't know how that ended up. I don't remember how it ended up, but I remember that being a big sore spot, that nobody was learning how to play the game. And that's something that game shows in the 70s, the celebrities took it very seriously, because this is the golden age of celebrities playing with regular people to win them money.
They meant it. I mean, they don't make them like they used to. Well, they don't make game shows like they used to anyway.
No, they don't.
You're right. Oh, the good old-fashioned game shows, Password, all of them. They were serious. You're absolutely right. They took it seriously.
Right, because it's more than just an opportunity to be on camera for the celebrity. I mean, you're actually winning life-changing money for somebody. I watch these shows with my wife sometimes, and we'll watch an old match game or something, and somebody will win $5,000, and my wife will ask me, "How much is that today?" And I tell her, for the 70s, multiply everything by like 5, and that'll tell you how much it might equal today. $5,000 in 1975, 76. I mean, that's a down payment on a house. That's enormous money.
Everything is relative. You are so right. I won $11,000 on Match Game. I was a millionaire.
Right. That's a lot of money. And this was in 1978, 79.
You're absolutely right. It's a lot of money. I mean, wow. Think about. Of course, I wouldn't mind 11,000 today either, Christian.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, $11,000 is still good money even today, for sure. What do you remember? I want to know what you remember about the moment when you won that money. I remember it was Robert Donner was your celebrity, and the question. I
love that man.
Yeah, and the question was like blank telephone, I think it was, and you have to fill in the blank with what you thought he'd say.
You're good. You could have thought, I think I said pay telephone. You were hoping, all you could do was hope they picked it. That's all you could do was hope they picked it. And when he said, I thought, pay telephone. And then when he said pay telephone, oh my God, I wanted to take him home. I tried to take part of it home and damaged his eyeballs.
Sure.
I grabbed his head. Yeah, I grabbed him. I grabbed that man, and that was from the heart. I wanted to take them all home.
Sure.
You are so right. Oh, my God. To think that he came up with the same answer as I did was mind-boggling. That was mind-boggling. That was the first 5,000. The second 5,000 blew my mind, because that was wasn't that the last, I think the sentence was in the.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, in the blank.
In that, oh my God, I did not have an answer until Gene Rayburn said we need an answer for me. I thought, oh my God, buff. I've never used that word. In the buff, never ever do I use that word.
Sure.
And suddenly it just came out of my mouth. It just came out. And Melanie, was that her? Melanie, she was a sweetheart. She's the one that answered it. Well, that's when they all left me, because they knew they were all going to get attacked.
Right, they all left the stage. That's right.
That was the best. They all left the stage because they knew they were all going to get it.
You were such a fun contestant to watch. You were so much fun.
Thank you, Christian. It was fun, as you probably were too. Do you know what I mean? That's why you're doing what you're doing now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry, my alarm went off on my phone. Give me 1 second. I thought I had this off.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
See, I'm liking what you do, Christian. What a great job you have. Wow. You get to call everyone and get all these feedbacks and then give yours too?
Well, it's been fun. And then, so I'll tell you really quickly how this came to be. When the pandemic started, I got laid off from the hotel where I was working because there was no work. Nobody was traveling.
Hold on. You were working at a hotel?
I was, yeah. So when COVID hit, I was working at a hotel, and
Oh, I love that. That's another big dream. Go on.
right. Well, I worked from home for about a month. I wrote their training manual for their front desk, and then I got laid off because there was just no more work to do, and there's no reason to bring me in because nobody was traveling. So I sensed this opportunity to be a broadcaster. I said, if I get a microphone and I get, some soundproof foam for my closet, I can make a little studio and I can record stuff and I could do it on my own terms. I'm home. I'm not going anywhere. I can make this my life for the time being. And I did. I bought a microphone and I built a little studio, and I used to do a show every week where I would have a conversation with somebody who I'd never met. It was somebody from anywhere in the world. And I talked to people over from...
How'd you get them?
What's that?
How'd you get these people to talk to?
I put out an ad on the internet, and I said, if you want to talk to me for as long as you want about anything you want, here's my email address. Let's set something up. And people reached out. Rochelle, it must have been from but by the time it ended, I did the show for 2 years. I talked to people from about 60 different countries, from all over the world. It was amazing. It was incredible. And so when
Christian, what a great story.
And so when this game show archive started up, it happened to be a friend of mine named Bob Bowden, who's a game show producer. He put me on a show about a decade ago, and I reached out to him and then the museum, and I said, I've been doing this show for 2 years. What if you let me do this show for you? But I was talking to contestants, and I was talking to people who've had this experience. I've been on 6 shows. I know what to ask and how to talk about it, and we'll have these kind of common experiences. And they loved it. And now I'm here talking to you.
I want to do what you do. Doggone it. I love what you do, Christian, and you're so good at it. I mean, so if it wasn't for the pandemic, you'd still be at a hotel.
Well, that's exactly it. And, now I'm working at another hotel, but I'm still able to do this when I come home. I have this incredibly fulfilling kind of creative life. It's really great.
The best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, it's really fantastic.
I love what you do. First of all, the hotel and airport to me excite me. The people, I like to watch people.
Oh yeah.
So
same here. Same here. Yeah, the social aspect is my favorite part of it. Just being able to watch and learn people's experiences. Oh yeah.
So you've got the best of all the worlds here. So your podcast then, and it go on. And what feedback will you get? What do you expect from your podcast?
Honestly, the goal right now is to, so the goal is to collect as many stories of this type of experience as I can. There's so many people out in the world who have been on a game show. I've had the pleasure of talking to so many of them. You know who I got to talk to a couple weeks ago, and she's still alive? Ooh. The first person ever to win Jeopardy in 1964. She was on the very first episode.
No.
And she won $300, and she was the very first person ever to win.
Oh my God, that's priceless.
Yeah, it's incredible. And God bless her. She's almost 90 years old now. She lives in North Carolina.
No kidding.
Yes, and she remembered everything like it was yesterday.
She did.
Oh, it's been incredible. Yeah, it's really been incredible.
Oh, Christian. Oh, you have some great stories to tell.
Oh, it's great. You should listen to I have about 25 episodes done. When you get a chance, I'll email you a link. You should really listen to it. I think you will really like some of them.
I would absolutely love to. And when will I be able to hear mine? Because I have to show off to the people I work with.
Oh, of course.
Right
this
now,
one, I'm aiming for either. Wait, let me look at my calendar because I have one coming up, and this one will probably be. Rochelle, I think I'm looking at the weekend of May 13th, Saturday the 13th. It'll be out.
Okay. And then will you send me a link how to click on, how to listen?
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely. I'll send it to you. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So you're calling from home now, or are you at a studio?
Well, I have my own little studio here in my apartment. I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania right now.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so my little studio here.
Yeah. Oh, that's where you and your wife live.
Correct. Yeah, we're in Lancaster. Yeah.
I need to do what you do because I want to know it all. I want details, Christian. I want to know, what are you having for dinner tonight? What did you do last night? How was your weekend? I like
Sure.
to know everything like you. I want to know everything like you.
Oh, well, that's
So-
fun. And when I was doing my other podcast, it's funny. I started doing the show and I said, I don't want this to be like any other show that I've heard. I kind of want to do something that I would listen to. The first word of every episode was hello. It was me picking up the phone or them picking up the phone and saying hello. And it just went from there. And
Right.
I would ask questions like that. How was your day? How was work today?
Yes.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Yes.
You know, and you get really cool conversation from little points like that.
You do. Like I said, I want to know every detail because that's that. Yeah, I should have been a therapist because I want to know everything about people's lives. I'm inquisitive. I love knowing what's going on.
Sure.
I
Well,
love
that's
it.
a good quality to
Yeah.
have as a game show contestant, and it also sort of prepares you for the interview process because you always get these questions when you're going to become a game show contestant.
Right.
They want to know,
Right.
what your life is about, what do you collect, what are your hobbies, your interests,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
that inquisitive nature had to have prepared you for that type of process.
Isn't that interesting? Well, I'm hanging out with you, Christian. I want to hang out with you.
Come on over.
I want to be your friend, and I want to eat your wife's cooking.
Oh, she's an amazing cook. She's an amazing cook. What do you like to eat?
What a gift. Oh, I love Mexican, Italian. I love food. You know what? I'd rather pick all day. I like hors d'oeuvres. I
Oh
would
yeah, little
rather
finger foods.
pick-
Sure.
Yes. Give me a taste of this and a taste of that. Yeah, I love it all, Christian. And I have such a sweet tooth. What does she like to make?
What does she like to make? She's really all over the place when it comes to what she likes to make. I mean, she can bake, but she can cook as well. She works at, right now, this brand new sort of French cafe bistro that opened in our neighborhood. And they make everything from beef Wellington to
Oh, my
the
God.
stew
Oh.
to they have these like fried potato appetizers,
Oh,
cheese dip. Oh God,
wow.
it's so good.
Oh, wow. Beef Wellington. I've never made that. It looks delicious.
Yeah, I ate it for the
my-
first time she had made it. I had never had it before, and it always looked so good.
Yeah, it does. Was it delicious?
Oh God, it was amazing. It was amazing, and there was
Oh
God, it was so good.
And this is the type of food you get all the time?
I would eat it all the time if I could. I definitely
Christian,
would, but
I'm so jealous. That's fabulous. Life is pretty darn good, isn't it?
it really is. It really is. And, and when you think about the experiences you've had,
Yeah.
I mean, you could be nothing but positive about them, right? They're just positive all
nothing
around.
but positive. Absolutely. Positive no matter what, Christian. Positive.
Yeah.
No matter what. You're absolutely right.
And it
that's
kind of
why
comes
they
across.
do. It does. It does. For all of us, you're absolutely right. Look at you. Both of
Sure,
us. You're
sure.
absolutely right.
So-
Positive. Yeah.
So I want to hear
Go
more
on.
about the run-throughs. I want to hear more about what that process was like and how you came to. So let me ask you this. How do you think you came to be one of the people that they would call for run-throughs? What was it about you? What was it about your personality that made you a good contestant for pilots and
Right.
for run-throughs and like the unaired stuff?
Right. Great question. And it's the personality. You don't want to pat yourself on the back, but they want people that will they want animals. They want animals. They'd rather calm you down than say, hey, come on, spruce up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They want to see excitement because, like you said, it drags in the audience and it gets them and they want to keep watching. Yeah, so they want excitement and they will tell you, be excited, jump up and down. They will tell you that. I used to do a lot of extra work, too. I used to love that. And that's where it comes in handy, too, the extra work, where they tell you to, a lot of them, if it's a comedy, jump up and down, be an animal. So,
Sure.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for the game shows. It's not a Jeopardy type contestant. Does it make sense to you? The shows that I was called for were fun shows. I was not good on a Jeopardy show.
Sure. Game shows
Does
as
that
opposed
make-
to quiz shows. Right.
Yeah, yes. Well said. Yes, that's exactly right. Game shows. They want excitement. They want to see excitement because you bring excitement to the game. and that's what they want. And
Yeah.
that's how you get a list. And I kept getting calls after calls. Come on down. We have a run through. This is how we're going to play the game. And you're like a plant. Actually, I was used too many times. I'm trying to think of the lady's name. In the 70s, Joanne Worley was at a run through too. Remember Joanne Worley?
Oh, sure, from Lassen. Right.
Yeah, I loved her. She was at a run through. What was the lady's name? Margie? I have to think about it. And they wanted me on a game.
Wait a second. I think I know who you're talking about.
Who?
Maggie? Maggie Brown?
Yes. Madeline, and there was a Madeline. Her name was Madeline. Yes, and back with the Joanne Worley days, and they wanted to put me on a pilot, and they had to because I was used too many times. It was Madeline.
Okay.
Thank you. Was there a Madeline
Got
and
it.
a John? They were the buyers, or they were someone, and I was stopped being used for a while because I was on so many times. It's just like, oh, it's her again.
Right.
So,
I think I might be talking about somebody different because back in November, I got to interview a woman named Maggie Brown who, like you, had done she had to have done, Rochelle, maybe 7 or 8 different pilots over the years.
wow.
And she was one of those go-to pilot actresses. She would go and play a contestant, and she had been on all kinds of things. And I wondered if you had had any interaction with her, seeing as both of you seem to have a pretty good run at that industry.
I would have to see her. Is she my age?
Yeah. I would say so.
You know what? I wouldn't know the name, but maybe the face.
You might. I think you both did. I don't know if you were on the same episode, but there was a show. It was a pilot in the 70s with Monty Hall called Talking Pictures. And it was a sort of memory thing where they had 7 or 8 celebrities on the wall, and they would hide behind a window, and you'd have to pick out, he'd read a question, and you have to pick out the celebrity that had the answer, and they'd open their little door. You did a pilot for that, and she did a pilot for that. I think there were 2 separate episodes.
For God's sakes, really? I'll have to look at that. I don't remember that one. How sad I don't remember. Should I be worried?
No, that's okay.
Oh dear.
It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Thank you for that.
Of course.
Thank you. It was a long time ago. Damn it.
Right. It was.
You know what? When I hold on.
Yeah.
Right. No, I was just going to say when I hang up, I hit my head against the wall for not remembering. This is driving me crazy.
No, that's okay.
Go on.
Well, it's hard to remember some of the stuff, especially the unaired stuff, because you can't see it anywhere. This Talking Pictures thing that I saw, the film archive at UCLA has a copy of one of them. And it's sort of by appointment only. You can view this stuff for research purposes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember Talking Pictures. I'm going to have to Google that. Damn. Wow, Christian, you're really rattling the brain today, aren't you?
Oh, you've done a lot. It's more than you remember.
It is. You know what? Wait a minute. I'm better than I thought I was, Christian.
You did a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Wait till I tell them. I did do a lot of things. I guess I forgot. I loved it. I remember being busy, but wow, I did more than I thought. Oh, there's going to be new treatment for me back at the office now. There's going to be a little respect and a little bowing now, Christian.
Good for you.
For that, yeah.
Hey, so
do
they know?
Kiss my ring. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I was going to ask how.
Do they know who they're dealing with?
Well, I know they know now, but do they know?
They know now.
Oh, good. So nobody really knows you as the game show girl.
Well, that's funny that you say that. I've been at this office for actually yes, because I let them know. I don't. We were talking about game shows, and I said, well, I was on the match game, and I showed them the tape. Well, they went wild. So they basically do all know. Yeah. So they do. Some don't, because you don't bring it up, unless the topic is brought up. But yeah, so it's kind of fun. And they know of this because I made sure I told everyone that walked by them at the desk. There will be a quiz. I said there will be a quiz.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
and there's
honored.
going to be
Thank
changes
you.
made now, Christian.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
Look what you've done. Thank you. And if there's any questions, I'm going to have them call you.
Well, that's one of the things too
You
about
started this again.
I woke it back up. I know. But that's one of the things too about being a contestant, and I know it from personal experience, is that it's never not fun to talk about, and people always love hearing about it. And even when I did, even back when I was 18 or 19, I had just done that one show, The Price is Right. I knew even at that point, I think I can go to any restaurant in America and get a free appetizer with this story. I think I could go to any bar and get a free beer with this story. You know what I mean? Because it's so infectious, and it's
yes.
Right, and there's something about the experience that people can relate to. Everybody wants to be that person for for a little while. I consider myself very blessed that I got to do it even more once, let alone more than once.
Yeah, you are so. Oh, I remember another thing, Christian, making a pilot, and I remember they would bus people in the studio, and I forgot what studio it was, but after we were done making the pilot, I would go out to the parking lot, and people would applaud and want my autograph. I said, "I'm just Rochelle Anapolsky," and they thought you were somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so fun. That's so fun.
That was fun. Yeah,
right.
That was fun. That was a bunch of young kids, but they thought you were somebody. And for that moment, we were somebody, weren't we?
Right, just like Annette, right?
I loved her.
Yeah.
Just like Annette. You're absolutely right. You're so right. See, listen to us. We could talk about this all day long, couldn't we?
Oh, I know it. Well, and it's... Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm having these conversations, is that, these are stories that I think need to be preserved, because, the National Archives of Game Show History, they're interviewing the professionals, the hosts and the directors and the producers and the set designers, and they're getting, they're getting that point of view. But there's a whole other angle to this experience that the contestants provide that I think is so valuable, because a game show is nothing without a contestant.
Well, that's absolutely right. Which, by the way, I don't like game shows when it's a celebrity on celebrity. Bring me real people.
Right. Well, that's how I feel about it too. I'm very old school in that way. I like regular people. Yeah.
I want to see regular people when not the celebrity. Bring the, but like you said, those were the good old days.
Sure.
Like they don't make them anymore. But you are so much fun to talk to.
Oh, thank you. So I appreciate that, Rochelle. Thank you so much. You as well. I'm having the time of my life. I don't know if you could tell, having this conversation. This is really great.
Absolutely. I'm loving this. I'm not letting you go, Christian, until you beg me to stop.
No, that's perfectly fine. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, this is excellent, Christian. What else do you want to know?
What do I want to know? Oh, so again, I'm doing this podcast as a project for the National Archives of Game Show History, and they're focused on... Right now, they're gathering a lot of the physical materials that make up the show. So the sets and the scripts and the props and things like that. Right. To that end, are there any bits of memorabilia that you have held on to from your years on game shows?
No, I never took her. Let me think. What a great... No. Like you got a year's supply of, what did you get, wax or something?
Oh, I got eye drops. Right.
Oh, you lucky man.
That's
lucky
right.
Man. I'll talk. We got orange juice. We got a year's supply of orange
that's
juice.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And not as a winner, but as doing a pilot, a TV, a little tiny TV.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That was great.
That's wonderful.
That really was great. A little tiny TV. What else did we get? But as far as the actual contestant on a live game show, no, just walked away with great memories or a nicer little bank account like Match Game.
Sure. Well, when I was on Match Game, I lost my final question. So mine was...
what was yours?
It was tug blank, and I said tug of war. And
so would I.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. And I always remember, they always say the first thing that comes to mind. And the celebrity that I had said they had an apartment with a view over the Hudson River, so they said tugboat, which also makes sense. I didn't win, but makes sense, right? Right, and I wanted to bring home the card that said boat. I wanted that.
Oh,
and they wouldn't
and
give it to me because they didn't want me to
Why?
put it on eBay.
Are you kidding?
So I
Why?
didn't get to bring it home.
How odd.
I know,
What
right?
were they afraid of? You were going to make money on this?
I mean, I guess so. I just wanted the memorabilia.
Oh.
But you know, it's funny. I went back to our dressing room and I realized that the walls were decorated with all the cards that they did from the past episode. So I almost took one. I almost took one, but I was a good person and we did it.
You grabbed the card and run. I never thought of bringing home a souvenir like that. I never thought of that. That's a great. That was a great idea. Now you tell me.
I know.
I'll
Well, that's
think
it. Yeah,
about it now.
that's a difference I noticed between people who were contestants on shows like in the 70s and 80s and more recent contestants. There's more of an urge to take some representation of the experience home these days, I think. I don't think people thought about it as much back then.
Never. I never thought about it. Isn't that interesting? No, I was just glad I won.
Sure. Well, you brought home.
Had the experience. Excellent.
Right. I mean, you brought home the best souvenir of all. You brought home $11,000. I mean, that's pretty good.
11,000, and it was. And the funny thing was, everyone. Oh, what are you going to buy? What are you going to buy? Chris went to the best store I could think of at that time, and looked. I thought, that's it. I'm going to buy an outfit. I'm not going to look at the price. Do you think I could get rid of that damn money? I walked out with socks for $11. I'll never forget that. But socks I bought. Socks. Because I guess I would never buy these particular socks. I was so sad. And I went to, I'll never forget, Long's Drugstore in LA. And I love Boston baked beans, the candy. And I bought a bag of
the
Boston
peanuts, the
baked
candy-covered
beans
peanuts?
and ate them. Oh, yes.
Those are the best.
Oh,
those are so good.
The best. Oh, I will fight you for those to this day. I lose control. Well, I ate the whole bag, and I got myself so sick and dizzy that my husband wanted to go out for dinner that night to celebrate, and I had to call and tell him, I can't go anywhere. I'm too sick and dizzy for these damn Boston baked beans. That was my celebration. So I had $11 socks and Boston baked beans, because I won 11,000. That's what I did with it.
And then you were down for the count.
Isn't that sad? I was down for the count. I ruined myself. I was so sad I ruined myself. But it made a good story.
That's an amazing story.
So to this day, when I eat Boston baked beans, yeah, socks and beans. My God, it doesn't get much better than that. Because I didn't even have to look at the price of the baked beans.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story.
This is excellent, Christian. This is excellent. My God,
I'm so glad you're
smile
having
on my face.
I'm so glad, and I'm glad you're having a great time remembering all these things. I mean, once you talk about them, I imagine they must feel like they happened yesterday.
It does, doesn't it, though? We're to the point where you want to get up and think, oh, I could call that person. I wonder if they're still around, that they're gone but not forgotten.
Right.
Years ago, these people. You wonder whatever happened to them.
Yeah, well, speaking of some of those people, let's talk about Gene Rayburn. What do you remember about being in his presence and being one of his contestants? What was Gene Rayburn like?
The nicest guy. He was the nice. You know what? He made it fun because he interacted with me. He made it fun. He brought it out. I remember he wanted to give me a shot to calm me down with that long microphone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he used it as like a big syringe.
They were all so nice. Yes, he calmed down. So he made it a pleasure, and it felt like he was sincere. Do you know what I mean? What's the word? I don't want to say fed me, but gave me, it was a permission to be me. You know what I mean?
Sure. He enabled the real you to come out.
That's exactly right. They couldn't have been nicer. You're absolutely right. Really, everyone was so sweet. Everyone on the show, and all the shows I've ever done, I've never met one meanie. They were all great people. That's what made it, as they should be, though, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, right. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I've talked to some contestants who have had negative experiences, who have had, who've had to deal with people who, maybe just didn't didn't contribute to the positivity of the experience. I'll say it kindly.
Oh, but
and you wonder how that can happen on a game show. I mean, it's again, it's just the
but if
most.
right. But if you think about it, they need to interact with you because they're looking good too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And you're dealing with people who, you accepted. Most game show contestants have never been on TV before. So they're nervous and they don't know what to expect, and they want to look good on the camera. They don't want to say something dumb. They don't want to embarrass themselves. And you need somebody who can sort of guide that experience, somebody who can kind of hold your hand and walk you along. And it feels like Gene Rayburn was really good at that. He knew how to identify nervous contestants and knew how to make them laugh and calm them down. Right.
It made him look good too. It made him look funny because I was an animal. He wanted to give me a shot with his microphone. How fun was that?
Sure. Oh, it was great. It was great. You guys were like a double act. It was wonderful.
Right. He got the laughs too. Exactly. We fed each other. Yeah. So nothing but positive experiences with all of them, really. I mean, there's not one mean thing. It was just, you wanted to hang out with them afterwards and say, hey, guys, let's be friends.
Right, sure.
That would go, but yeah, Christian, you want to be part of them, don't you?
Well, that's, and Match Game in particular comes across as such a big party. And, it just comes across as such a fun show and a fun atmosphere to be around. What do you remember about the atmosphere of that show? There's been legends for years about the drinking going on backstage, and they take lunch and they drink and all that.
Get out. I never saw the drinking. Now I'm sad, but I don't drink anyway. No, I didn't see anything. Oh, I'll tell you what I remember is the good food. Oh my God. You have
tell me about it.
You're fed like a king. They bring in the tables of food. Oh, that was the best part. I'm trying to think now. It was a buffet, and they had cooks and whatnot. And you could have anything you wanted, and candies and cookies. Oh, my God, I wanted to fill my pockets and purse.
Oh, you must have been in heaven.
I was in heaven because I love a good buffet. I like to pick, and that was, the food. No, I don't remember any bad behavior, so to speak. I'm trying to think. I missed it all.
Bad behavior, but sure.
Oh, I'm so sad. What was that? I missed all bad behavior, or if there was, I wasn't paying attention to it. No, they were all fun in between takes.
Sure.
I never witnessed anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard.
Huh?
Yeah. So not so much in relation to bad behavior, only that, there's a rumor. Well, not a rumor. I think it's a little more confirmed these days. But they tape 5 episodes of Match Game in a day, and they do the first 3. And then they break for lunch, and everyone would eat and drink whatever they wanted to drink. And as a result, the last 2 shows of the day were a little more raucous because everybody's just a little more drunk for episodes 4 and 5 than they were the first 3.
Oh, that's interesting. No, oh darn! I'll make sure if I go on another game show that it's the last one because I want to see the excitement go around.
Right.
I want to make sure. No, I didn't see, or if I did, no, I didn't see anything like that. Oh, I'm very sad. I just remember the good food, the fun food.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and the excitement in between.
Well, that contributes to the experience, doesn't
Christian,
it? Yeah, right. Of course.
Oh my God,
presence of all of it.
Just being there. Yeah, you're so right. Just being there, the atmosphere, the cameras. It's in awe. You're in awe. It's just, it's you know what? It takes your breath away. That's what it just takes your breath away. Just being around it all, as you know.
Oh, it's the most exciting. It's the most exciting thing I think that I've ever been part of.
It's true. Listen to us. It's true, Christian.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I'll never forget
Christian.
any of it. So looking back, I wonder how you feel because I don't want to ask. It's the year 2023. When you were participating in any of these game shows, any of the pilots, the run-throughs, did you have any inclination that you were taking part in something that would be so fondly remembered so far out into the future?
Oh, how interesting. No, I never thought about it. Did you? I never gave it a thought. Did you?
I don't know. Somehow it was in my head that people will see this. I'll have a tape of this to show my kids if I have kids or my grandkids or friends or
Right.
whatever. But I never. It's hard for me to
No.
picture that, right? Because now, we're talking about things that you did close to half a century ago.
Oy vey, Christian.
Not to drive that
Wow.
point home, but
You
just I'm really more
Oh,
talking
no, but
about
it's true. And
I'm
we're
really
still talking about it.
right, and I'm really more talking about the enduring memories of the experience. Just that show.
Right.
Match Game has never left the air. I think there's been some form of it on the air, whether it's a new version or reruns for all these
Right.
years. You still pop up on Game Show Network once in a while.
I can't believe that. Now that you bring it up, I'm so glad I have a tape because it will live on. And we've showed many a friend who never saw it. So you're right, it does live on. But as far as 40 years later, having someone like you call me and talk about it never entered my mind like that. So this
Sure.
is pretty darn awesome, isn't it?
I think
I
it is for sure.
I can't remember the last time I talked about all my game shows. Who would I talk to? Because unless you're on one like us, they're not going to get it. And you're not going to bore them.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Right. And again, it's funny for me to say because I'm doing this podcast, but words can only do it so much justice, like you said, without knowing the experience and without being able to relate to it on a personal level. It's really hard to convey those emotions and those feelings and that excitement and the fun and all that. Like you could talk about it all day, but you really don't know it until you're part of it.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's well said. Well said. Until you've taken place like we have, until you've done it, you're not going to get it. And they're just fun stories to people that listen. But like you and I that have lived it, wow, those were great days, weren't they? Hey,
They
and it
really
ain't over
were.
yet because look what you're doing.
Oh, that's it. It's very
Yeah,
true.
and you're
It's
still
very
doing
true.
it, Christian. Wow.
It's hard.
That
It's
is
hard
great.
to wrap my head around it sometimes. To be honest with you.
You're so lucky, really. And you're perfect for it. Look who they have. You're absolutely perfect for this.
Well, I appreciate
This
that.
is excellent.
I had this opportunity a few months ago. I was interviewed by a production company in New York. They're working on a documentary. ABC News is working on a 4-part documentary series about the history of game shows, and it premieres in May. And lately, I've been and I'm in just about every episode. I can't wait for you to see it. You're gonna love it. And
I would love to see this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll be on. I've been thinking about how, if 5-year-old me knew what I would be doing at age 33, if we were to fast forward, you know what I mean? It's crazy that, just a little personal kind of reflection that kid now gets to do this. It's pretty cool.
Right. It is pretty cool. How fun you say that. It is pretty cool. And when I think about one of the agents here at the office, we always wanted to be in showbiz, how we kind of are-ish doing what we do, being a receptionist, entertaining the troops, so to speak, and now having you call. Yeah, I'm doing it, aren't I? In a way.
Oh, absolutely. In many ways. And really, the fact that this footage of you winning on Match Game, which is, to me, that's just the most iconic moment for you as far as game shows are concerned, because you can watch it on YouTube all the time, and it's on Game Show Network all the time, and
I love that.
You did it then, and you really you keep doing it because it's so that it's so accessible and it's so watchable, and people watch it and they laugh and they love seeing you win, and that part endures.
How fun! Oh, that's excellent. That's good to hear. Thank you. That's good to hear. That's great, isn't it? To know, look what we did. Isn't that great?
Sure. And again,
that is great.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about having, I've used the word legacy in the past, and some people might think it's a little heavy for what we're talking about, but I don't know that it is. I think that it is a little bit of a legacy. You have a place in that little niche area of TV history. How do you feel about having that?
And oh, I'm loving this until you said something. I didn't think about it, but now that you're bringing it up, I'm in awe. I'm a little speechless. I am in absolute awe what you have just created. I truly am in awe. Wow. 40 years later, and you're calling me to see how it was. I don't think there's enough words, Christian. There are words. This is what we wanted to do. This is what I loved. And now you're calling me to get my feedback. This is pretty awesome, isn't it?
I love how much you love this.
When I hang up, I'm going to think, oh my God. Yeah, I'm loving every minute. But when I hang up, I'm going to think, oh my God. He called me because I was on a game show 40 years ago and left a footprint. Wow, Christian, you take my way. It's mind-boggling. That's the word I have to say to you, mind-boggling. And it'll sink in later, and I might have to come see you.
Sure. You are anytime you're in Lancaster, Rochelle, you come see me, I will give you the grand tour.
Oh, you dear man. And a dinner from your wife.
Absolutely. Oh, she would be honored.
I went to dinner.
She would be honored.
Yeah. So, that's cute. But seriously, my mind is boggled from you. It is what you've just created. When I hang up, I'll go, I can't believe it. Wow. It was more than just a phone call, so to speak. Look what you've done, and use the word legacy, and I know what you mean. Still, I'm still going after 40 years. You noticed.
Right.
And that's great.
Well,
is great, just like you, Christian.
Well, just like you were unforgettable, Rochelle, and that's why I wanted to talk to you for this.
Oh, you dear man, as we both are, because you keep going too. Wow, Christian. You know what? I'm just going to be walking around all day now with a smile on my face.
I am so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. This is wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have just about everything I need, Rochelle. We got a good hour and change. It's really great.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you'll send me, I want to see your shows, Christian. Send me the link to your shows.
Yes, I will do that. I have to figure out how to get those back online because I have them on my computer. I will figure something out and I will have you see them. You will like them. Being the kind of contestant you are, you'll see how I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be good.
I can't wait either. And you'll see the link to the podcast and your podcast anytime that I can listen to.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to the other episodes. And again, yours, I'm aiming for May 13th. It will be out.
Perfect. Oh, I don't know how to thank you. This has been priceless is the word I'm going to use.
I am so glad to hear that. There is no thank you necessary. Thank you for having all of that fun so long ago. That's so fondly remembered that I was able to talk to you today about it.
Oh, you dear man, but you did it. You started this.
Well, I appreciate it. I am ecstatic that you were so excited to talk to me today, Rochelle. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. What a pleasure, Christian. Thank you, my friend.
The pleasure's all mine. We'll be in touch, okay?
I look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Have a good day.
My friend. Thank you. Thanks, too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Tell Us About Yourself. Conversations with Game Show Contestants is hosted, produced, and edited by me, Christian Carrion, from my studio in beautiful downtown Lancaster City, Pennsylvania. Co-executive producer Cory Anotado. Researcher Chuck Donegan. This has been a production of BuzzerBlog, the most popular game show website in the world, in partnership with the National Archives of Game Show History at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. For more information, visit museumofplay.org. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Christian Carrion. Good night. Tell Us About Yourself. Conversations with Game Show Contestants is produced in partnership with the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York, one of the largest history museums in the United States
and one of the leading museums serving families with highly interactive exhibits and programs. Since 1968, the Strong Museum has been dedicated to exploring the ways in which play encourages learning, creativity, and discovery, and how it illuminates cultural history. And their National Archives of Game Show History. Founded by industry veterans Bob Bowden and Howard Blumenthal, the archive is home to thousands of artifacts representing over 80 years of broadcasting, including props, set designs, video interviews with game show professionals, and other iconic elements from the history of television at play. For more information about the National Archives of Game Show History or the Strong National Museum of Play, visit museumofplay.org or call area code 585-263-2700.